City are still alive here. Balotelli, Aguero! Special beyond special.
Best player in the Premier League.
Captain Marvel. Trafford! Rooney! Oh, wonderful! That is one Derby diamond.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's match day.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Clash of Clubs, episode 51. I'm Dylan alongside Grant. No Mila today because he hates Liverpool so very much. But in today's episode, we're going to start a little bit of a mini series as we prep for the next season of the Premier League. So we'll have a club that ended the year at the top starting this mini series off. And so we'll be previewing Liverpool's summer, previewing their season by looking at their summer, kind of how they're going to line up. We'll talk about them with no bias at all. Clearly analytical. But we'll get into that. But before we get into it, a little self-promo here. Go ahead and follow C.O.C Network on all socials. Go ahead and like, comment, subscribe, do all that fun jazz. We're trying to grow here and get to 100 subscribers. So, without further ado, let's get into it. Liverpool's summer has been maybe one of the most aggressive championship afterward summers of all time. We're getting close to it's going to be 300 million euros or whatever denomination you want to put it in. It's going to be 300 million. Crazy. Grant, what are your thoughts on Liverpool's start to the window?
Yeah, I mean, we use the word ambition a lot in the season. I think this is the epitome of it. We saw what happened in recent memory when they weren't very ambitious defending their title. A lot of other teams see that opening with City going back as they did, Arsenal not being there, waiting just for City to drop off. They understood that, yeah, even though they won the title, I mean, they didn't have that competition really pushing them all the way to the end. Salah towards the end kind of didn't keep up that first half pace, which again, I mean, he had 28 and 18. It was a crazy year from him, but they understand you can't just rely on him to be superhuman every year, especially as he's getting older and older. So they go and buy one of the best 10s in the world, reinforce at fullback, Alisson, who's still up there and for me, top 3 in the world at goalkeeper. They have Mamardashvili coming in, who they got that done last year, but yeah, spending almost 300 million euros with Ekitike, who's coming in next. I'm surprised that they got this over the line as quick as they did, only because I was assuming one of Luis Diaz, Darwin Núñez, someone in the front line was leaving first, but I guess the Coutinho money's still alive and well. They got no problem spending the money, and good for them. It is a very ambitious window. I think Ekitike, I think I saw Sky Sports tweeted the fee without add-ons. Wish they did that for Mudryk, who's 100 million. It's going to be 150 in 3 years. But again, teams spend money. The big teams can spend money. This isn't a new thing. When they offered 110 for Caicedo, everyone was very surprised, me included. But it shows that it's there. Last year, I think it was Edwards' first year back. They didn't really do too much. It was Chiesa and then the goalkeeper. I guess they were ready to go. They were doing their research behind the scenes the whole time. And then
at least
Ekitike is going to be very good for them, I think. I'm just happy it's not Isak. I think if it was Isak, we'd be in a lot of trouble. The rhetoric in this video would be very different. Nonetheless, I still think this makes them favorites in my eyes. As it stands, there's a lot of business that needs to be done from a lot of teams.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
I mean, we were talking about him. He's baby Isak, right? So Isak, I think, had maybe 7 or 8 goals his last year at Sociedad before coming over. Sweden's a little different than France, but Ekitike is not capped yet by France. I think in due time, he'll be just fine playing up top for Liverpool. He'll have that opportunity pretty soon. They're going to be scary. I think they're going to be very scary. Midfield's the only question mark, maybe. Get some cover for Gravenberch, but McAllister can do that job. They've got enough there. That would be my only worry with, competing on 4 fronts. Target on your back now that you're the defending champs. But I think as a Liverpool fan, they couldn't ask for much more. I think it might be as close to a 10 out of 10 window as you can get. Just got to see these outgoings, but it's
Yeah.
looking good for them. It's looking very good.
Yeah, it better be a fucking 10 out of 10 window if you're spending that much money.
Yeah.
Ekatike as a player is probably the perfect fit for striker for Liverpool. I think that everybody else that they were kind of linked to, obviously, like you said, baby Isak. I don't know if I'm going to go that far because Isak is just a really good
In
player.
style of play.
Yeah, but to your point, like in terms of fitting alongside Salah, like that's the exact player that you want. You want somebody who's mobile, good with the ball at his feet, can kind of just play all across the front line.
You can drift a bit.
Yeah, and I mean, there's all the highlights of him like off the left wing and like cutting inside and almost acting as a second striker. And for Liverpool, like that's essentially what this is. Like Salah is your unorthodox
Your
striker
talisman.
to a certain extent. So now you've got a second, like he essentially will be playing as a second striker with no other striker on the pitch. Excited for the prospect of this player because I think he's really good. I would have liked any other team to have taken a punt for him so that Liverpool couldn't get him because that sucks. And like you said, like I think the sports books will have them as favorites. I think everybody probably should have them as favorites penciled in here. I just don't know if like they're my runaway favorite. But
Yeah.
they, like you said, like their window, and we can go back to that, was just really, really good. I don't even I haven't seen this much ambition out of them. Obviously, they didn't spend really any money last summer, and then they just dropped 300 million on everyone else's heads in a league that was super competitive. So here we are. They got fees out of some guys. They're gonna probably sell one or two more guys, would be my expectation.
Yeah, DS is that big one. I mean,
That's
I've been really confused by it because everything I see from Liverpool fans is they're more than happy to see him go. He's 28 years old, and they're rejecting outright, pretty good money from big teams, almost pushing away interest. Find it a bit confusing. I actually like Gakpo on the left for them too, so I don't think they lose too much, especially if they get like 80 million euros for him at his age. But that's really the big domino. I think Darwin's gone. I'm not sure where, but I think the writing's on the wall. Konate, I think Konate's probably gone next year on a free, though. I think Madrid are probably taking him next. So apparently Rodrigo's the dream signing for them. If they fucking sign him after all that they've done this window, they're the runaway favorites. They're runaway favorites.
Runaway. And I don't even know if competing with them at all.
Yeah, if Rodrigo, Ekatike, Salah, Verts front four, that'd be scary. So we'll see.
We can kind of talk about it as we get into the lineup here, but like my only concern with them in particular is like they didn't do anything to kind of cover the defensive needs, I think, in the team.
Yeah, Gahey links disappeared.
I can't believe that they're not linked to anybody else. I mean, they got two very good fullbacks. Don't get me wrong. Like Frimpong and Kirkes are very good fullbacks, but they are attack-minded fullbacks.
Oh, absolutely.
And I honestly think that this team is best suited. Honestly, what it feels like on paper is some form of a 3-back, 5-back situation with the lack of kind of defensive players for me.
I think this is just the new wave of like kind of you see what City did in the Club World Cup, just very high and wide fullbacks, compact in the middle. It's another tactical trend, right? Like we saw fullbacks or center backs at fullback a few years ago. Thankfully, that's gone. But I think that might be the next thing because, like, I mean, Kwanzaa squad player, but he's gone. So it's Joe Gomez, Konate, who I think is gone next year, and Van Dijk.
And Van Dijk is how old is Van Dijk?
Matip's gone, right? Yeah, I mean, I think he's 33.
So
still looked very good last year, but again, to your point, building for the future, I would be surprised if they didn't bring in a center half. Yeah, so that might be their business. Gahey, the links have went completely dry. He has a year left on his contract. Other teams need defenders.
I have no idea why he's the one center back that hasn't been kind of linked to.
Yeah, we went after him in January really hard. I think Newcastle went after him really hard last summer. Liverpool seemed to have went after him early in the window, and that's just kind of dissipated. I'm not sure, but maybe they cannot. Say leaves on a free, they get Gahey on a pre-contract. Who knows? But I think that's the next thing to address. Or again, midfield cover, because those guys played a lot of games here.
They did. And also, I think that with the idea of going so forward thinking and forward pressing, when I think of Gravenberch and McAllister, I don't necessarily see them as ball playing midfielders. I don't know if that's like an incorrect way of looking at it. I think Gravenberch can eat ground for a living, and so can McAllister. But I don't think their like specialized trait is like pinging the ball all over the park, which I don't know if that's like just Wirtz dropping in deeper and that's how they're going to figure it out. But I don't know. This feels like
held his own. He did really good last year for me, at least, carrying the ball. He's not a natural six. He's definitely not a natural six, but he did a great job in there. To your point, if you're playing that, high and wide bombing fullbacks, you're going to need an absolute just monster in the middle, like a Caicedo or a Rodri before the injury. We're just, that middle of the park is safe. So again, maybe that's a concern. I mean, I said it like 2 months ago when they made the Frimpong and the Kirkesh. I don't know exactly how they set up or what it looks like in possession, but Slot's earned the right to pick and choose the players he wants to bring in and how he wants to set them up after what he did last year. So I'm pretty interested in exactly how it looks. But the midfield, interesting point, because they did look really good last year, but they're clearly going to play a slightly different way in terms of the shape. So the wear and tear plus that, I would imagine they'd like to have some depth there. They do have Endo, but I don't think that's someone they're relying on to play heavy minutes or crucial minutes.
We might as well just kind of get into how we can discuss and kind of get a semi feel on what we think they might do, because I think it's a really interesting question. Like they're in a spot where they brought in all this talent, but I'm still not 100% sure like where that talent is going to be. I personally, it feels like a 5-back or a 3-back is imminent at some point, but to your point, like they don't have any center backs to play that. So
I think it's not going to look exactly like this in possession. It'll be looking on the lineup card. It'll be a 4-2-3-1, but I think it'll probably shift into somewhat of a 4-2-2. Like the pivot just kind of will sit there, and then you'll have Gakpo, maybe Wirtz drifting out wide, or a fullback filling that space, and then you have Salah kind of getting up top with Ekitike. I can see something like that. Gakpo on the left and maybe Wirtz on the right when he drifts out. I'm not sure, but I think it might end up looking.
I mean, the fact that they're interested in offers must, like, for me, feels like Gakpo is just going to be starting there.
Well, also, and honestly, I always think when he's been on the left, he's looked very good, whether it's for his country or for Liverpool. I guess anytime he's been off the left, I think he's done pretty good.
And the idea of Ekitike, like I was saying, like a lot of the clips where you see him being like this mobile striker is him moving to the left. And so then you just naturally push Gakpo to the center and he can do a job there. So like it's just so much flexibility. The midfield too is McAllister.
Gravenberch and McAllister. Yeah. And Sabasa is an interesting one here because I think he was almost like sort of a glue guy, if it's a basketball term we like using that, but I feel like he just kind of filled in the holes in and out of possession. Maybe he takes a deeper role. I still think there's going to be minutes for him at the 10, right? But I don't think that's his best position, especially next to a guy, whether it's Gravenberch or McAllister. I don't think you want someone who's not naturally a 6 next to a 10 playing as an 8. You know what I mean? I don't think the midfield has as much balance there. So I'm intrigued to see kind of what comes out of his role this year. But I mean, look at this team on paper. I don't even have to ask me a single question about who's going where.
Yeah. The only question, I guess, is like, is Alisson starting for sure?
For now. I think, he's still the best. I think it's probably one more year.
Yeah, I agree. This is definitely how I see them putting up. It's pretty gross. It's filthy. And obviously, like in possession, you're probably looking at something more
Frimpong get forward.
Yeah, Frimpong I think is honestly going to be like here.
But then I think Wirtz is going to be able to drop into those spaces on the right.
You put him here, you put him here. Like
he has a free role,
can kind of drop in deep.
It's
like this position.
I think it's going to be some
Szoboszlai. Like this is a position I could totally see him coming in and like the 60th
If it starts
minute,
moving like this, yeah.
and then
'Cause
you're
he's got
you're just
good legs in
pushing
him too.
these you're just pushing these forward. Everybody's kind of like this would be my assumption. I think maybe these guys usually are like this. I
Yeah,
don't
yeah, yeah.
But this is, I mean, in possession, man, like you're looking at just so much insane attacking depth. Like, how do you even defend that? Is a good question. I think now they've got a target man. Ekatike is
That
fucking
sort
massive.
of shape that sort of shapes probably more towards the end of the game, like you were saying, like, hey, we gotta go get one here.
Yeah,
I think McAllister will have to stay a little deeper typically when they're building, but yeah, I think both fullbacks, that's where they like to live. And then Verts, I think you're gonna have to rely on his football IQ to really fill in the blanks, right? And this is all just us speculating, right? Because we really don't know
no,
what it's
100%.
gonna look like. I
We don't
do
even know
think
if
the one
anybody's going to start
I
necessarily.
think
Like,
Bradley's got a good shout. I think
yeah,
Bradley's going to be able to play a ton of minutes too. I think it all just depends on how they want to set up, right? But I
yeah,
can totally see a world. I think more than likely you're going to see a lot of Salah and Ekatike linking up. No shit.
100%.
Gakpo loves cutting in off the left. Maybe Kirkish likes making those underlapping runs a bit, overlap, mix it up.
Yeah,
But again, he's probably going to be on that flank. Yeah, I think a lot of it's going to come down to the guy they paid a ton of money for as the number 10, but he's really good. So I think, again, they're going to look really dangerous. They're probably going to have a variety of ways to attack teams because, I mean, people don't really realize it was Slot because it was his first year and they won the league, but this is his setting the foundation year. Now he's really going to be able to open up his playbook a little bit more, if you will. We saw it with Chelsea at the Club World Cup. I think we're going to see it probably even more so with Liverpool. They're more comfortable with each other because they won the fucking league the way they played. So I think it's going to be really interesting. But yeah, I mean, just looking at the names on the team sheet, and they still can have more business to do because they have outgoings for some big money. They're
100%.
going to be dangerous, man. They're going to be really dangerous.
Super dangerous. I guess in terms of the style of play, the only thing that this kind of indicated with like all the signs they made is I feel like they're going to be more transitional, which is kind of going back to what they were doing. I just don't see them holding the ball as much. I think that Trent just allows you to do a lot more when you have a player like that in terms of holding the ball. And I think that honestly, Liverpool is at their best when they are a more not counterattack is not the right word, but more transitional team. And like I feel like in the Champions League in particular, like they weren't able to capitalize on a lot of that. And that's why they ultimately went out to PSG is because they just got beat at essentially the thing that they had been doing best for 5-6 years. They just didn't do it as good. And I think that that's just like another wrinkle that they're going to add. Like obviously when they play smaller sides, they're going to hold the fucking ball. And like it's going to be down to like Salah and Gakpo and Verts and all these guys to break down a low block. But I think in bigger games, like just the ability to be like, all right, we're just going to beat you guys on the counter. Because they can do that. They could totally do that. So now it leads to
stuff.
It is interesting. I think out of all the big teams, like they're the biggest question because obviously they won the league and now they're looking to repeat. Like, is this a team you're looking at and you're like, can they repeat? Yeah,
I think they can. I definitely think they can.
I mean, you don't spend 300 million and then not have the assumption that that's what you're going to do.
Yeah, we did it to get back up to 12th a few years ago. It happens.
Sometimes you got to do what you got to do. In their case, I think they smell blood. That's what this felt like.
Agreed.
This was,
That's exactly what it was.
In a summer where like you're probably two out of the three of your closest like competitors had to play after the season, and then you could just sit back and literally the league's been wrapped up it was wrapped up like a month before. So they've been on fucking chill mode for 3 months, and everyone else has had to have this kind of grueling summer, and they just spent 300 million like it was nothing and just blink, and they've got them all before preseason too, pretty much. Like Ekatike will come in like maybe a game or two in, but like fuck's sake,
he's got time to settle. Yeah,
like you said, they're definitely the favorite, and I bet you the Bucks got him as the favorite. I think it. Funny enough, like it always comes down to Salah. Like if Salah is Salah, then you've got a decent fucking shot. You got a decent fucking
first half of the seasons when you see a lot of that damage. And again, he's the most settled player. He knows how to score against these teams he's playing against. I don't think it's a question. It's just his body still got it. I don't think he showed too many signs of slowing down last year. He looked like what he usually has looked like, except he's got a better hairline now. I mean, that's really the only difference.
Yeah, that turkey treatment was great.
Yeah.
No, they're
Yep.
like I said, saying favorites for sure favorites for me.
And we're also building them up so we can tear them down, of course. Like, it's part of the game.
When eventually they're
part of the game,
they don't win, we can be like, "Oh, I fucking told you guys."
Yeah,
fucking.
I think right, and I think they're still favorite. Again, we've said it enough times in the 20 minutes we've been recording. They are the clear favorites. I wouldn't say they're runaway just because I think it's so open this year. I think there's so many
100%.
variables that we don't know yet. I think Arsenal got their window right. We talked about it with Facundo. I think we are on the up and up, Chelsea. I think I'm very optimistic going into the season after what I've seen. A lot of business needs to be done on that front. And then Man City made a lot of ambitious moves. They bowed out early in the tournament, but I think they showed a lot of positives in that in the tournament. So I think they're going to be up for it too. So that's 3 teams in for sure. And I think Chelsea will give teams a push. I still don't think they're there just yet. But that's 4 teams that it can go either way with them. So I think it's still wide open. It's not like it was in the past where it's, well, City and Liverpool look really good and the rest. I don't think it's that. I don't think Liverpool are in that echelon. But they can. Shit, they absolutely can. If Verts just blows everyone out of the water and Salah's still Salah, Ekatike gets his finishing boots, it can happen. I just think it's still really open. I still think it's going to be super competitive this year.
Agreed. I think this is the most competitive Premier League season we've seen in a long time. Like I said, we don't have a runaway favorite. I feel like over the last few years, it's been Cities to lose. Yeah. Even last year, it was Cities to lose, and they lost it, and Liverpool took full advantage. And so 21 is definitely in sight. It's in sight. And these moves just made it so that they could have like a nuclear effect, really. Like that's how it feels to me. Like if everything goes right, if all these signings pan out, like you're looking at a dynasty. Like that's how good that it could get for Liverpool. And they're not, they just trade one of the Red Sox players and then they can just sign more guys. It's that Fenway Sports.
Yeah. I need to hear what Klopp has to say on this 300 million spent.
Oh yeah,
other teams just can't compete with that. It's a disgrace.
No, look, it's a really cool.
A multi-club model as well. Don't get me started.
It's a really cool story to see a small club like this be able to compete with the big boys finally. They just haven't really spent that much money. They just spent the most ever on a keeper at the time, most ever on a defender at the time. They broke the British transfer record for a player, and they just they're about to break the record for a striker. Is that?
No, that's Big Rom still, I fear. Yeah.
Is it? Was he 100?
Oh yeah, I think he was 97 million pounds, so he was over 100 million euros.
Can't remember, but you're getting fucking close. So, is this the most expensive? Is this the most money ever spent in a window? Are they getting to that? They got to be getting close, right?
No. Clearly,
what did Chelsea spend a while back?
The minimum was 400 million euros. Minimum was
which window was that?
Winter. Where the Mudryk, João Felix loan, I think that 22-23 season.
Was that 400 million? Jesus Christ.
Or that summer the year after that, Caicedo. Oh yeah, Enzo obviously too. But
it's on part of that.
You know what it led to.
It's on part of that level of spending. So, small club
but
money.
It makes more sense. You can see where it's going a little more with Liverpool. At the time, Chelsea were just fucking trolling. Oh, Arsenal want Mudryk? All right. They want João Felix? All right. Ooh, this Enzo guy, he did well at the World Cup. We'll have him. That's what it was.
Hey, it looks good now, except for the Mudryk thing. Everything right, else.
Don't bring it up again. I'm gonna fucking cry.
Oh, you should, because he's a steroid cheat.
No, he's not. He unknowingly took those substances. Guys, I've said it on the record a million times. He would have banged. He would have been fantastic. He was just coming along. Noah didn't know what to do with him. I mean, he was unplayable.
You'll get the
another life.
It's okay, because now you're gonna get you'll have the opportunity to get the other United reject. But over to one of my favorite players. I made a video on it yesterday on my nightly walk, but Marcus Rashford to Barcelona. is I feel like just a win-win-win for all parties. I think United, I think particularly I said it in our text thread, you do right by the player. Like, this is what Marcus has wanted for a while now. And I think that he's handled the situation pretty good. Like, people are going to say, like, the interview of him coming out and saying, like, he didn't really want to be at United anymore is, like, a bad thing. But after that, if you look at everything after that, he hasn't said anything. He's just gone about his business. I went to Villa openly, did it. Came back, has said nothing. There's been no PR from him. And then he's finally been like, hey, I want Barca. Get me to Barca. And I think that the club recognized that. They had probably offers from other teams. And they ultimately decided, we'll get you to the place you want to be. Because I think treating stars matters. And Marcus Rashford is an international star. And when you look back at it, like, he's going to probably think fonder of this moment when they got him to a place that he wanted to be, even in a toxic situation. And that has a trickle-down effect. At least I think business in sports works like that. So we can get into kind of what this means for Barca if we want. From a United perspective, I can save that for after that if you want to do it that way.
Yeah, I mean, I think for Barca, it's a match made in heaven in terms of style of play, what they're doing. I think he can work up front in that system. I mean, we saw Ferran with the Lewandowski cover. He did a pretty good job there. I think Rashford would be able to do just fine with guys like Yamal, Pedri, such forward-thinking players. I mean, I think his running of the channels fits very well there, whether it's up top or on that left-hand side. The role Rafinha played, and again, Rafinha is a Ballon d'Or contender this year for a reason, but I think he would do well as a 10. I think maybe that forces Olmo out of the lineup, but he's not someone you can rely on. I mean, he's always hurt. I don't not rely on him from a talent perspective, but just availability. So I think you could play Rafinha as the 10, Rashford on the left, and then Balde overlapping. I think he's going to put up numbers. We saw what he can do when he's confident, when he's in that mode, even with Villa in moments. So I think for Barca, it's going to work out. And I do think it's really important to do right by the player. I mean, he's been there, 20 plus years at United. Yeah. And if you fucked him off or didn't do right by him, I do think you're right. That type of stuff trickles. Someone will ask him that's linked to United, hey, what's it like? Well, you saw what they did to me. I think that stuff is very important. I think if someone asks Marcus Rashford in a year or two, hey, I'm thinking about going to United, whatever. If all goes to plan, this works out, Barca get another few levers pulled to make it permanent, or he rebuilds his value, another team buys him. I think he would have nice things to say about his boyhood club. But I do think this is we've said it a few times with him over the years, but it's make or break, right? He's 27. He's at his physical prime, right? That's the peak age. He's going to a team who just won all their trophies domestically, and they have ambitions to win a Champions League. It's been a while over at Barca. This is it, right? If this doesn't go well, what's next? We're not too sure. He goes back to United, still on $350K or $400K a week. It's bad news. So I think all parties are probably rooting for Marcus's success.
Yeah, no, this is his last best shot. And if it doesn't work, he goes to a step down from what I think his talent level is, which sucks.
Galatasaray.
Sure. Yeah. That's a team that likes a cheeky bid like that. Tactically, though, I think this is great. Hansi Flick has gotten the best out of a lot of left wingers, and none have been nearly as talented transitionally as Marcus Rashford is. That's where he's at his best, is when you're springing him in behind, 1-2 touch, bang, 1-2 touch cross. Like that's Marcus Rashford's game. And when he's at the top level, when he's confident, he's unplayable. And so, like you said, you give him ball day. I mean, some of the best stuff that Marcus Rashford has ever done on a football pitch came with a healthy Luke Shaw overlapping. So now you're going to give him one of the youngest, best prospects at the left back position in ball day. That's match made in heaven. And for Barca, 30 million, like, sure, they're paying for wages. Yeah, they're paying the wages.
That was the Sancho buy option. I think he took a pay cut, though. He took a 25% pay cut, something like that.
Because he wants, and honestly, like, all of the people that have essentially wanted out, barring Sancho, had the same sentiment of, like, I want to get my career back on track because it's also on me. Like, this partially didn't work because of me. partially this was my fault. I think Marcus understands that. And from my understanding, a decent human being. This guy,
Right.
he doesn't seem like media perspective, at least he doesn't seem like a bad guy. So good for the player. For United's sake, like obviously I hate it. I've already had my ramble about why it sucks for me personally, because I think Marcus Rashford's fucking awesome. And I think that like any good team for United would have had him in it. But it's just a sign of the times. Sign of the times for United in terms of like time to venture into new avenues, time to reset the club from the ground up. And guys like Marcus, unfortunately, just kind of get the Harvey Dent treatment, is what I called it in my video. Like you live long enough in a certain environment, you become the villain.
Yeah.
And like
whether or
I
not
think
it's his fault. Yeah.
we looked. I think we saw a little bit of that with Bruno this offseason, like because he didn't want to go to fucking Saudi. Like he's almost become a villain in a certain sector of the fans, which is fucking ludicrous to me. But
the club wanted to keep him.
Yeah,
if the club wanted him out, and I still think it'd be a little foul, but if the club wanted him out and he said no, I can understand the sentiment of being frustrated with him. And to your point with Rashford too, and the Harvey Dent syndrome, he's associated with the worst era in United's history. Whether or not that's his fault and he's solely responsible, which he's obviously not, to your point, it's not just one party that's responsible. The club, all the managers that have come through, the technical staff, I know even physios who might have rushed him back from injury, not treated him right. Yeah. Him, his effort, his work rate off the ball, right? Because that's 100%. Something that needs to be there at Barca. A lot of moving parts. It's a complicated formula as to why everything didn't work, but unfortunately, it's probably in United's best interest just to completely, not even after we got to write a new book. It's a whole new book. And I think that's what we're seeing. It looks like business is progressing with United.
Yeah. Well, we can just get into it.
I mean, finally that hair's not even there anymore.
No, it's not. No, he's completely bald. I saw him in that suit. He is bald. He showed up in his Sunday best, for sure today.
Absolutely.
You want to kind of lead this one, like in terms of where you want to take it? Do you want to talk about the structure of the deal? I don't know.
I think he's going to play as one of the 10s. Pretty straightforward there, probably on the right. He's a forward. And I think, to what I was just saying, it's a new era. It's a new book, not just a new chapter. United's got a fully deep clean, whatever it was, and the open heart surgery Ragnick was talking about. Maybe we're seeing it now. I saw a lot of overreactions with your guys' preseason game. Who gives a fuck? There's business that needs to be done still, but I think waiting 6 weeks to not really get the best deal out of it's probably frustrating. But at the end of the day, all right, fuck, cut your losses, get the guy in. We got to get other shit done. I think that's what it was. You want to come out of that. I mean, you're bidding against yourself for a month and a half. You would have hoped to get a better deal out of it. It is what it is. We can't really judge it until we see it because, I mean, before he ever got linked to United or picked United, we're talking about, if he had hair, his price tag will be double. He's only 25. And then as soon as it becomes United, oh my God, 80 million for a 30-year-old. And you know how it is with people. But you got to give new signings a chance. I mean, that's my whole thing with stuff, which kind of sounds crazy about me and my whole stance with Garnacho because that still can happen. But once he's wearing your colors, and I think Arsenal fans are doing somewhat of a better job with Madueke's situation, you should support this guy because it's in your best interest that he does well. Regardless of how you feel about the business or how it happened, he's a Manchester United player. I think he's going to be an important Manchester United player for what they want to do. So you have to back the signing. And we talked about it when he first decided, I want to go to United. You're buying goals. He's not one of those players where we're going to look at it, okay, in the 3-2-5 setup, when he's in the half spaces, he's not that type of player to me. When I think of Mbuemo, I just think of someone who's effective. When Brentford were scoring all those goals in the first minute, it was always him on the end of it. It's not always the prettiest move or this and that, but he just has a good feel for the game, and especially in those forward areas of when it's time to strike. He's a great striker of the ball. He's got a good cross on him. I think you're going to get output from him, no doubt. If he's heavily relied upon for just 1v1, let's say, and dribbling, not so much as strength, but a really good transitional player, able to find that space once you win the ball. I think it's time to shift to other priorities. We're hearing a lot about it. I still think some midfield reinforcement needs to be done, but again, you got it over the line. You're going to get your social media posts from the club soon, see what number he is, all that good stuff, but it's good to just over the line because it's no secret. Obviously, this was the main guy. Get it done.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's good to finally have that. Here we go. I think that as United fans, we're kind of getting antsy. And to your point about like not wanting the player's best thing at heart, like we just are in a world of media where it's so agenda focused and driven that like that's all that matters. Like you're no longer, a lot of people, specifically online, are no longer fans of teams, in my opinion. I think they're just agenda fans. So it's like whatever agenda they want to
They want to be right.
Yeah, and that's so dumb. Dude, this season, if Rasmus Højlund, if he was our starting 9, I'd hope that he scores 50 fucking goals. My agenda is that he's not a very good striker, but I fucking hope that he scores 50 because at the very least, like we could ship him off to fucking wherever. You know what I mean? And so we're just in a weird spot with that.
He's wearing your badge. You should want him to do well. It's really simple. It's really simple.
The structure of the deal, like I honestly have no issue with it taking as long as it did. If I'm being honest with you, just because we played one preseason game where I watched it and it wasn't that high level. It's preseason, but he comes on the tour still and he'll be there and Amorim can work with him and the team can get adjusted to his style of play way before the start of the season. And the money wise, like, look, they tried to haggle and get a better deal for themselves. I think that they actually did. I think it's just getting kind of swept under the rug. The fact that this is over 4 installments is pretty big. I'm assuming at the start of those conversations, it was not that. And I don't think that United could afford to pay over only.
They probably got reasonable payment terms.
Yeah. And then also like, look, they wanted 65. They got 65. If United end up paying 70 million for Mbuemo, it's because he was a good fucking signing. So I have no issue paying 70. When it comes to add-ons for me, that's like my personal opinion is like, if they meet their add-ons, it's because they did good things. It's not because they did bad things.
Most of the time. We got add-ons. We got add-ons from Mountain Hazard. So it's sometimes like Hazard winning at Real Madrid. We got add-ons.
Right.
From Mount winning. Like
100%.
Most of the time, it's usually because they contributed, though. I see what you mean.
Sorry, United are not in a position where like the add-ons are going to be because he played poorly and was just on a good team. You know what I mean?
Right.
But to your point, there are certain things where like Ekitike, for example, I think his add-ons are relatively easy to hit. Like he could be terrible, and as long as he's on their Premier League winning side,
appearances,
like, they'll tackle him.
Yeah,
sure. And like I think that United doing the negotiating and taking as long as it took, that's what it is. Like that's what that haggling.
United taxed by fear.
Yeah, and they were always going to pay 65. Look, once they were in negotiations, nobody went for 55. Alenga went for 55. Are you going to convince me the guy who scored 20 goals and had 7 assists is not worth 65
at Brentford? Yeah,
10 million more. Yeah, he is, and it's not an overpay. It's just, I think it's just fair market value. It's what they paid for Cunha. Cunha was a little different.
To your point, look at what everyone else is going for. I mean, this is when it's in between Premier League clubs, there's just so much more money involved. Like when you see the worst thing you can see is a selling club, and I'm sure you can relate to this, Dylan. Oh, Serie A teams are interested. You're just like, we're getting a loan.
You're not
with an $8
paying.
million buy option.
You're not paying.
And then in this league, it'll be. Everton just offered 60 million. Obviously, Everton aren't going to have that type of money, but I mean, there's money just coming out of everywhere. So this is just the asking price. This is how it goes. And I mean, for United fans who are really complaining, all right, who did you want to sign? Did you want to go sign someone from a foreign league and get charged a hefty price again? Because these foreign teams go, a Premier League team, and they immediately run the price up.
Yep.
That's just how it goes. I mean, look at how much Sunderland have done. Look at the business Sunderland have done. We should talk about that separately at a different time, but they're spending money.
Yeah.
Premier League teams have money. So whatever you think it's going to be, add 10 or 15, and then that's usually what it'll end up being. That's just how it is.
I was going to say, I think the Prem teams are probably going to outspend every other league combined.
Combined, right? I think that happened last year too. Out of the top 5 leagues, yeah.
It's the best league in the world, and that's why. Like they
It's
figured
the
it out.
Super League, financially
They're
speaking.
100% agreed. I know that Mila is not going to want to talk about this next topic because of Nicholas Jackson. So I think we should just do it now and get it
Okay.
out of the way since we're both on this. Particularly because the striker market, right, is like the next thing that United are going to go into. That's what Fabrizio's saying. It's like the next big thing. And once you get Mbuemo over the line, boom, striker options are now afoot. And the three that are on the short list that is public, we don't know if they have anyone else, is Benjamin Sesko, Ollie Watkins, and Nicholas Jackson. Let's shelf Jackson for the end because I have thoughts on him. I know you have thoughts on him. But we'll talk about Sesko. I want to say first because I don't know a ton about the player. I don't watch him all the time. Youngest, he's like the youngest, like next prospect. If you were like looking at the pecking order of guys, like I think he was next up on the list for a lot of teams that didn't want Ekatike.
Yep.
Or Gyökeres.
Yep.
So big physical body, fucking has a strike on him. Like if I know one thing about Benjamin Sesko is he can score a fucking worldie if he wants. Not great with the ball, I think, from my understanding of the data. It's not great with the ball at his feet, not a great distributor,
Not
but
awful.
True awful. 9, right? Like
he's a target man. Really high, really good vertical leap. I think in terms of like a center forward prospect, you look at his attributes and you just start like drooling, like, oh, look at all this, but he's super raw. That's the thing with him.
Yeah.
That's the real hang up. I think that was Arsenal's main target, and I still think profile-wise, that's the exact profile Arsenal would want up top. But 90 million was the asking price. I think that's a little ridiculous. I think his agent's pricing him out. Because last year is Arsenal and Chelsea, and he decided we're going to stay one more year, do a little bit more.
And he took a dip, right?
Padding over in the Bundesliga. And then, no, he was all right. He did pretty good. But this was the summer where it's okay, he's leaving. And I mean, we bought 2 strikers. Arsenal, I mean, as of recording, it's still not over the line, but I think they're going to get Gyökeres. Did his agent price him out of a move? He might not have anywhere else to go, but I also don't think United are going to spend 90 million euros on a guy who's not proven after what's happened with Højlund. I think that can very well end up happening again if the rest of the team's not working correctly. You just have this really athletic, young, raw striker just kind of lost in the box, just kind of standing there waiting for something to happen. So that one, I don't love it. If he's walking into a good team, it's different. If there's another striker there and he has time to develop, he's not fully relied upon to be the guy yet. But I don't think this makes sense for either party. Maybe he's desperate for a big team and he wants to go, but I think for his development and for where United want to go, you need more of a proven commodity or at least a known commodity. So I would be pretty hesitant with him. And then Ollie Watkins, I mean, a known commodity, but a depreciating asset. So you're going to pay 50 million for him. That's another 50 in the hole. Like you're not getting, well, you're going to get 10 million for him if you sell him. Dipped last year. He's almost 30. So I don't know if I love, depends on the type of business you do. If it's maybe 40, 35, if the price makes sense, it makes sense. I think it's not the end of the world. It's a decent move. Mm-hmm. Jackson's probably the best option of the 3, given what you probably end up paying. I think 60?
That'd be the question.
If I had to guess. 60, 65. I'd hope for him. I don't think he's leaving though, to be perfectly honest. From everything I'm seeing, we have a high asking price, and I think we said it last week. His reputation does not match what he actually is as a player, in my opinion. He gets grouped into that like Antony and Mudryk mean level of player. He's a very raw player who's gotten double-digit goals up top for Chelsea as a striker. And I think given Chelsea's recent history, that's really impressive, especially given he's a winger turned into a striker, played half a season up top before coming over. I think he's done really well, all things considered. Again, similar to what I said about Noni, I think Chelsea are on one path and Jackson isn't caught up yet. And I still think there's a player in there. I think at United, he'd probably do well. With guys like Cunha and Mbuemo, he's a guy who loves to link up when he's on his game. That's the type of player he is, creating space for guys who score goals. So work rate off the ball, you never have to question that. At his worst, he's going to be hounding center backs and goalies off the ball. But yeah, the striker market's just so peculiar, but you need one. You do need one.
Yeah.
I think there's no doubts about that. But what other guys are there other than these three? Because I think out of the three on the screen, Ollie Watkins, the only one I can see happening. Jackson, if there's other PSR moves with United, Villa, Chelsea, I think those three teams their fates can still be connected here in terms of PSR and transfers. Garnacho can be involved in this too, unfortunately. But I think those teams, that's a real domino. But yeah, what other strikers could you even move for? Like, I think it was like Ratigi from Italy. He went to Saudi. Like
There's been
even those sort of guys.
There's like Moises Keane has been kind of semi-linked all summer. I don't know if that's just an Italian thing. I'm not high on him. I think these are the three that I would want United to full send. And if they weren't able to get one of the three, then I'm just saying go get a midfielder, like pay the premium on a midfielder. Like that's kind of where I'm at. If I had to rank these three guys, I think I C.O.C first just because I think getting Mbuemo and getting Cunha just makes a project striker like way easier to kind of fit in.
There's
And
less on his shoulders with those guys.
100%. And like United system still has some crossing base into it. And after seeing kind of like what Dorgu was providing, like the idea of having an aerial threat in the box, like just some big fucker to kind of put away chances. Like United scored a lot of goals last season with Maguire going up front. So C.O.C's just I think you have the best return for your money potentially. I don't think his price tag is that high because I just don't think there's suitors. So if he wants to move, it'll have to drop. And I don't think that Leipzig are in a
crazy.
Yeah, 90 is ridiculous. Like if
Euros, but still it's a high number.
Yeah, if we paid like 60, 70, like I wouldn't be
75 plus 5 is I think the lowest it might go. But to your point,
75 plus
he's got
5,
a month and a half left. I don't think he wants to be at Leipzig next year.
Yeah, so it's really going to be on the play. Like if the player wants to move to United, he will really have to push it, and United will be in the driver's seat from there because they've got a free shot at him. Nobody else can go and get that type of player. Like nobody in the
Newcastle? I wouldn't think so, but they tried to get
it doesn't really fit.
No,
I don't know if that necessarily fits their model, but
I don't think so.
To be fair, like they totally could, and I think they're more attractive prospect and project for a player of him.
I saw we got linked to him again. We got linked not like heavily, but like we're kind of back in there, and I think that just again comes down to if Jackson ends up leaving.
Yeah.
I don't think that would be a smart. I don't think it'd be a smart allocation of funds on our part, but I think we're also guilty of unintelligent allocations of funds in the recent past as well. So can't put anything past us. But I think in terms of return on investment, I think Jackson could be. You know how I feel about it. I think
for the price that you're talking about, I'm so far out on Jackson. It's not funny. I don't think
what if it was 55.
I'm not paying anything more than 40, and that just like might not be his market value, right? And that's fine. But like
we paid 35.
Personally, for me, I think that like in negotiations, United should be in the driver position for that because he's just not going to play many games at the current rate. Like you have two guys, you paid 30 and you paid 55. They both started and played over him in a very important competition. And I just don't see him being anywhere in the pecking order of Maresca's. And I think that if you're United, you should go into negotiations going, he's your third string striker. Like if you want him to be gone, like you want the PSR implications, we'll go to like 45 max would be kind of like where I'm at. But he feels like a stopgap striker for me in the sense of just like, I can't see his ceiling being exponentially higher than what it's currently at. I just don't think that he's ever going to get the shooting boots that he would need to be that.
Yeah.
But as a player that you're
really
talking about, like
super
serviceable.
That's what it comes down to for me is because I mean that first half of last season, fuck man, he had the shooting boots. The ball striking itself, it's questionable. But the finishing was there. And that was just such a complete version of him. And I think again, my whole thing and just believing that he'll come good is just how late he started playing at a high level. didn't come up playing in a European academy. He didn't play very organized football until pretty late compared to a lot of these guys we talk about. So that's where my optimism sort of comes in on him filling in the blanks of learning how to really be a striker, because his movement in the box sometimes leaves a lot to be desired, and making the right runs there. It doesn't really get many of those strikers goals that you would love for him to get. But I think that can come with time. But Chelsea are in an interesting spot where, I mean, they're world champions now. We don't really have time to wait. We need known commodities. We need guaranteed goals. I still think he has a role to play. His stock isn't going to be any lower than it is right now. I mean, I think those 2 red cards absolutely killed the trajectory of his Chelsea career. The one against Newcastle and then doing it again, 2 minutes after coming on in a game. That type of stuff's inexcusable. It's selfish. I can live with those horrible missed chances because I see so much good in him. I see how hard he works. And even now, he wants to stay. He wants to fight for his place. I love it. I hope he succeeds. I still think Pedro's going to be floating around a bit in our attack. I don't think he's a nailed-on number 9. Delap is, but he's young. I still think there's Jackson's got something to say. I still think he'll have something to say going into the season. I hope we keep him. I like Jackson. I really like Jackson. But I can absolutely see writing on the wall at the same time. If he doesn't respond to the call, I don't see his future looking too bright with us. But I love the mentality because he hasn't had competition with us yet. He hasn't had any competition up top, and now he has it. No. So I'd love for him to see how he reacts, because I think even if his stock does tank, I don't think you take a loss on him on this type of player.
No, so it wouldn't be a loss. But
no, I think we make a profit on him regardless. I hate that, I mean, it's our project. This is how it works, but I hate talking about a guy I like so much like that. I hope he works it out, but who the fuck knows?
For me, like with him, like it's an IQ thing. I just don't see his IQ being high enough to like really make him an elite 9. But like he's very good. I like Nicholas Jackson. I think that we've talked about agendas like for United fans that are like so anti Nicholas Jackson. Like he is leaps and bounds better than the current guy that we have, right? Like leaps and bounds. It's not even close. Like they're not on the same stratosphere. Nicholas Jackson has been he's part of a project that got Champions League this year. So can be very serviceable. And I think around 2 very good players can be great. I just don't want to pay. I'm not paying a premium on a guy's ceiling that I don't really value as high as like.
We see the ceiling differently. That's all it is. So yeah,
it's really what it is. Yeah. But also like in Chelsea, it'll be really interesting because this is not the first player that's going to be like this. It won't be the last player where it's like you've had this project, you've had a player that is clearly like on the back end, like the fringe of now your kind of squad rotation. And yes, he can play a role. Like Nkunku technically played a role last year. You've been able to make him look good. Now the question is, when a team comes calling, like you guys have clearly done great business, like Vega and stuff like that. The guys that go out on loan, like I kind of know more of the structure of how that's done. For a guy like this, like Noni is a great example too. Like when they want to be there, but they clearly are on the edge there. Clearly, like and the project is kind of just built around getting rid of those players, right? Like you've got 2 guys that are clearly better than him. If you don't sell him now and he doesn't perform well and he ends up being on the fringe next summer, how much is he realistically worth? Like, is this the high? It's such a weird spot because, like you were saying, like he got red cards, and so
if all goes to shit, he gets let's say 20 league appearances and like 3 goals. I think you can probably get either a loan to a team that gets a lot of play and then he rebuilds his value, you sell him there. And again, I don't think this just applies to Jackson. I think a lot of players can end up in this sort of situation where it's here's your make or break. You got to prove you fit in the squad. You can get a loan like that because again, these guys are on low wages. It's not too much to cover. Jackson did get an extension at the beginning of last year. That's not
right. No, right.
Got to bump up to maybe like I think he's on like $80K a week. But if it doesn't work out and he has a low performance like that, I think you can either sell him for a slight profit to a mid-table team, like I could see a Crystal Palace or a Fulham getting Nicholas Jackson, right? Or you loan him out to a similar level team, he rebuilds his value, and then you sell him. I also him out to a team in Italy. They've been glamoring for him. He goes and does well at AC Milan. Someone pays for him. So I think there's multiple avenues that type of situation. But again, it's dicey because you're putting a lot up in the air. There's a lot of uncontrollable variables. Like, unfortunately, injuries are part of the game. He can go get an injury on that loan. And again, this isn't just Jackson, to be any player in the situation. There's a lot up in the air, like a Chilwell, a Sterling, different situations. They're on huge wages, but it's tough to get rid of certain guys.
I mean, you guys still have Joe Felix. Oh, yeah, he's on crazy. Is he on crazy wages?
No, he took a big pay cut to sign with us permanently, and I think we're at. He only wants Benfica, and they offered like 20 million euros for 50% of the player, so we would have 50% sell on, and honestly, get him the fuck out. I couldn't care less.
Right, but that's
a loss. Like, we paid like 40 million last year.
That's the worst case scenario with that type of project. But there's still a value. Like, you guys will still get something back. Like, you could be in a situation,
and the way we cook the books, it'll probably be a profit.
Yeah, you guys will figure out some way to sell him back to the team, and it'll just work out. But that's it. Yeah, Jackson, I think, is
the U21s.
For a certain price, I'm very high on Nicholas Jackson, and at a certain price, I'm very low on Nicholas Jackson. Šeško's too high for my blood. Ollie Watkins is proven commodity, but he's going to cost too much unless you're able to lower the fee with the idea of giving them Garnacho.
I think that can absolutely happen.
And
unfortunately, they got warned, or us and Villa got warned about PSR swaps. So maybe you could sneak in, get a quick slap on the wrist warning, get some business done.
Yeah, look, I barely touched on Ollie Watkins. Like, if he comes in tomorrow, United, or I genuinely think you take a bottom 5-10 team, and I think you immediately become European type of challengers again. Like, you're going to be in that conversation. I think right now I feel more confident than I did. But even if we didn't get a midfielder, I would still feel pretty freaking confident if you got Ollie Watkins that, like, you're just going to have enough goals to get you at least.
Goals, yeah. I'd have some questions about the structure still, but again, there's still a lot to be done.
100%.
In terms of the attack, you're much more confident. You don't really have any question marks. You know exactly what you have. It's the best of the rest front three. No. You know exactly what you have. So as long as the structure is at least something.
You're looking at, I think if you were to add Ollie Watkins, I don't remember what his goal tally was, but it's
like 12 or something maybe.
Okay, so combined, him and Cunha got 20, 24, 25, and Mbuemo got 20. So you're at 45 goals, give or take. United scored 44 last season in the league. So
he had 16 and 8 in the league.
So 6 even. Yeah. So those
27 and 13 in all comps the year before. That was
those 3 players. If you get Ollie Watkins combined, had more goals than United's entire team did last season in the Prem. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to just play the most basic game of Moneyball of all time. Like, you immediately become a way better squad.
Dude, that was my best call. Like, when Ten Hag was still in, I said you'd have that just Chelsea type year where we were dog shit. But yeah, I mean, when you bring up stats like that, like, you're not going to take anything else for the rest of your life watching this team for granted, because you're going to remember this past year. It was like, we scored like 20 goals the whole year. Just you guys were awful.
I've been
watching. It was so bad. You're desensitized to it.
We've had a lot of papering over the cracks. Like, we've been crap. We'll win a trophy though.
Yeah,
there's some teams that are good and won't win a trophy. So, like, there's still very, very, very good reasons to be a United fan. Like, if anyone's trying to be like, "Oh, you being a United fan sucks," like, yeah, sure. Being a United fan right now sucks. We also just spent 120 million. I bet you there's a lot of teams where they sucked and didn't get to spend any money. So
you can still hold your standards and be grateful.
Yeah. Oh, and I think there's just way too much negativity around United. Like, they've done good business so far. They've clearly upgraded the squad. Now it just becomes
there's intent
in the holes. Yeah, intent. The theme of our summer, intent. But
we're trying.
Yeah, I'm happy we did that now, because I know Mila would probably lose his fucking mind if we talked.
Bro, he just don't. Bro, he sucks.
Yeah. Well, Mila's opinion on Nicholas Jackson is I think the majority of people's opinion. Yeah, fuck, dude.
Hey, man, I'm telling you, I watch him every week. I know what I'm seeing, man.
I like Nicholas Jackson a lot. I just don't like him for 60. Because in my eyes, 60, 65 is Cunha and Mbuemo now.
Right. Hey, They're talking a lot about you, 15. How will you respond, 15? Come on, man.
15.
The
What
noise
you
is
doing?
getting bright.
Cool. You good to wrap it up?
Yeah.
Let's do it on the hour. So from myself and Grant, we have been Clash of Clubs. This has been episode 51, and we will see you guys in the next one.
2 words for him. Different gravy. Glorious goal! Wreathed in red. We're really seeing the most extraordinary finish here. On this day of days, has he delivered? Just magnificent! Potentially life-changing! That's football. Minute you let it under your skin, then you begin to make it better.